Well, good morning, friends. Glad to see you drop in. Welcome to Papaw's place. Today, we're about to do a step-by-step on how to change the hydraulic fluid and filters in this 2024 Rouge bad boy mower. So stay with me. Alright guys, I got my lawnmower pulled around here under my outside shop, I call it, which is nothing more than a Canopy from VEVOR, which works real good. Covers and makes a lot of shade. But the first thing you want to do when you get ready to change your hydraulic fluid is to run your lawnmower around. And I ain't meaning just run the motor, you need to run it and drive it. That way your hydraulic fluid will get warmed up to operating temperature. You always want to change your fluids at operating temperature, no matter if you're dealing with a motor, hydraulics, or whatever. That way it'll drain more contaminants out when you drain it. Now I'm gonna start on the right side of the mower over here on the right reservoir. First thing I done is took a air hose, blew all the dirt off, any kind of dust around your filters, because that's the #1 failure for hydraulic systems. Is for dirt or dust for it to get contaminated. So sprayed all that good off with high pressure air. Next, I'm gonna unscrew the top here, but I ain't gonna take it off. I'm just unscrewing it enough that when I pull the filters off, it'll drain. The bad boy Rouge here, you don't have to get under it and pull no drain plugs or anything. It's all gonna drain from your filter. All the pumps is setting up here. The wheel motors is at the bottom. And it does not say anything in the book about drain plugs or draining the wheel motors or anything. It just says unscrew the filters. Again, we're finna start right now. Right side, I've already removed the filter. Now we're going to remove it on the left side and let it drain into the drain pan. Yeah, whoever put these filters on knew what they was doing. Because if you seen my video where I showed changing the oil in the motor, whoever put that on, put it on extremely too tight. Now when you fill this, it calls for 2 quarts in each side, but it's not going to hold that much because your pump still got whole oil in it and your wheel motors has got oil in them. But the book doesn't call for any kind of other drain screw to drain any oil out. I'm going to save this filter with oil in it. After the video, I'm going to drain this through a white cloth just to make sure ain't nothing in it, since this is the first time this is changed. This here is supposed to be the 50 hour, which I'm up to about 63 hours. I changed the motor oil at 50 and then I had to mow some more. So this is the first oil change, hydraulic fluid I mean. You want to take you a clean rag and wipe around and make sure your gaskets come off, your O-rings or filter gaskets come off and they're not stuck on here. Make sure they come off with the filter. I'm going to wipe the other side while I'm here. And when I'm referring to make sure your gasket stayed on your filters, this black gasket right there, see, it'll lift up. If it stayed stuck on there and you didn't see it and screwed your new filter on, when you fire it up, you're just going to have a big leak. So we're going to be going back on with the bad boy filters, which is 063-8014-00 is your filter number for at least this 2024 Rouge. And you can put any 20W50 oil in this thing. It tells you that in the book, but they of course recommend their hydrostatic oil synthetic blend 20W50 by Bad Boy. And this ain't no higher for this gallon than it is for 4 quarts of a good brand 20W50 oil anyway, so I'm going with their oil. Now you want to get a little bit of your old oil out of your other filter. Just dip your finger in it, run around your seal, your gasket, O-ring, whatever you want to call it. And I'm going to screw that right back on there. Then we're going to screw that right on there so it'll be going clockwise. And you screw it up till that gasket touches, and then you go about 3/4 more turn. You don't put a wrench on it. You don't put both hands on it. Now what I've always done all my life on anything I put filters on, I take one hand with a rag and I turn it until I can't hold it with one hand. That's always been tight enough. Unless you the Incredible Hulk, I've got some extraordinary one-hand grip. Now I tried again with a rag. I want to make sure I got it on there so the seal will seal, which don't take but about a half, 3/4 of a turn. These come with a dipstick here to fill them. Got your low mark and your high mark. I'm going to put the filter on the right side. Now I got my filters and my bad boy oil from Brumley's Repair right here in Oak Grove, Louisiana. So if you live near Oak Grove, you can run right up there and they got your filters, filter kits, oil, blades, belts, sell bad boy mowers, plus have all your belts, pulleys, and parts for just about any brand mower. If they ain't got it there, they can get it for you quick. So drop in at Brumley's Repair and tell them Papaw sent you up there, and you might get a Coca-Cola to drink or something. You never know. Alright, as tight as I can go with one hand. Now again, this ain't gonna hold no 2 quarts when you're changing the fluid, because you still got some oil in your lines, you still got some oil in these pump and your wheel motors. But according to the book, there ain't no drain plugs on the wheel motors or these pumps that you should be concerned about. That's probably why they recommend changing your oil and filters every 250 hours, is because of so much used oil still being in the lines and motors and such. Every lawnmower's different. The bad boy Elite that I had, I attach a video above of it. You can go back and watch it. This here is a lot easier to do too. So now I'm finna get a funnel, and we're gonna fill this back up with oil, and then we'll go into the next step of purging the air out of the system. Make sure your funnel's good and clean. And you don't want to overfill these. Looking with my eye, I think that's going to be good enough to move into the purging system. That looks good. Our next step is to raise the rear end off the ground. Then we got to open up the relief valves on the back. I'll show y'all that. And we'll go into the purging. Now guys, if you messed up and overfilled your reservoir, don't panic. Every little mechanic, shade tree mechanic and all ought to have something like this, which is like a big syringe that you can just stick the tip down there and suck it out till you get it the height you want it. I think I put a little too much in that one over there, and that's one thing you don't want to do is overfill it. So you can suck it back out to get it to the marks on your dipstick. So now we're finna raise up the back end. And for me, I'm using my VEVOR Air Jack. Very handy jack to own. And guys, all the tools I use, even the oil filters, anything that you see in any of my videos, if you look in the description below the clip video and click that little button that says more, it'll open up the whole description. And I have affiliated links to Amazon to where you can go get that stuff. It's no extra cost to you, but it does help me out. Now we just want to raise it up just high enough the wheels is off the ground. Next step is to open the purging valve, release valve, which is on the back of each motor. Right there. It's on the back of each one on each side. I'm just going to use an Allen wrench because it has a hole that you can stick it in like that right there. And you want to open that about 3/4 of a turn, and that's all. Don't go no further. You'll be done pulled your plug totally out. Kind of working off-handy trying to hold the camera here. Don't know if y'all can see it. We're gonna open that one up. So after you open your purge valves up, fire your lawnmower up, and we're gonna go forward and back at a steady slow motion about 6 times. Then we're gonna get off, we're gonna close the valves and do that same process again. Now that may have been more than 6 times, but do it at least 5 or 6 times. Now I'm going to raise the seat back up. I'm going to close them valves that we just opened. And when you're closing these, you ain't got to get carried away and try to tighten them tight. They just need to be snugged down enough that they won't vibrate loose when you're mowing. This is all aluminum and stuff, so if you get too carried away, you could strip that aluminum out. So now that I got the valves closed, we're going to do it again. Now I like idling my mower up a little bit, not wide open, but I don't like it all the way on idle. I want to make sure them pumps is turning fast enough to circulate that oil. Now, if everything worked the way it ought to work, we'll let it back off the jack and go running around the yard. And if you feel like you got some air trapped in there and if steering don't feel just right, you jack it back up and you go through this same process. I'm going to look at mine and see if the oil went down much. That one looks good. I'd rather mine to be halfway between the two marks or down toward the bottom, because as it get hot, it comes up and you don't want to overfill it because it'll want to try to push out around the seals or your tops. Now see, this one right here needs some more fluid. It went way on down. So since this one went down and it needs some more fluid, I'm going to go through the process again of purging it out. So I'm going to crack the valves back open again, about 3/4 of a turn. And we're going to purge it again because I had to add a little too much in there for not to purge it again. And usually it's best if you ever have to add oil for any reason, it's better to purge your system anyway, even if you just open it to add oil and add in. So here we go again, purging twice. I'm not going to kill it this time. I'm going to just close my valve. Now I'm going to lower it back to the ground. Now guys, I'm going to fire it up. I'm going to take it around out through there and I'm going to make sure everything feels good. If it don't, you come back and you go through the process again. But I ain't never had to do it again. One thing, the last thing I'll do, since I just added oil to it, after I run it, when I come back and it cools off, I check it while it's sitting on level ground to make sure the oil level's just right. And guys, that's all it is to changing the hydraulic fluid on this Rouge. It is so much simpler than a lot of your other zero turns. If you want to see what I'm talking about, I'm going to attach the video right above of me changing it in my Elite bad boy mower, which I don't have no more. I had it for years. And also will be coming up soon of me changing the hydro fluid and filters in my Spartan SRT XD. And you're going to see what to look for. The difference is, I'm going to do another video one day, guys, of just me sitting talking, telling you what you need to look for when you want to buy a zero turn mower, what you need to look for, what you need to look at, especially if you want a price compare, some things that you need to watch out for. Even dealing with your salesmen out there, they just like car salesmen in some of these places. But that's going to be a video coming up later too. So if you ain't never subscribed, please hit that subscribe button. It don't cost you a thing. Hit that notification bell. And when you see a topic come up or something that got your interest, you'll know to watch it. But the best way you could help me out, even if you don't like it, if I'm doing something in the garden and you ain't even a gardener, if you would just punch that play on that phone and just let it play. You could mute it and ain't even got to listen to me. Just let it play. That's the best way you could help me. Because that's where you get your funds, is from your views on your YouTube. So that's the best way you could help me out. Again, if you're in a market for a zero turn mower, maybe that's why you watching this video. You in the market for a zero turn mower and you ain't got your mind made up, check out the bad boys. You need to check them out. If there ain't no dealership in your town, Google up the nearest dealer, and there ought to be one within reasonable driving distance, I would think, anywhere in the United States. But I don't know. You would have to Google that. If you need any around Oak Grove, Louisiana, you can just run right up here to Brumley's Repair. And if they ain't got the exact mower you want in stock and you know which one you want, they can get it in 2 weeks. That's how long it took to get this one. Also, they have all the stuff for bad boy mowers. They have parts, belts, pulleys, all your parts for your other brand mowers also. But guys, that's how simple it is. Like I said, I'm going to let it cool off right here. Then I check my oil level to make sure it is. But I think it's going to be good. Usually after you check it that first time, after you done that purging, if it goes down much, it'll still be in between the marks. And as long as it's in between the marks and I ain't got no kind of leaks, I'm happy. That's all it needs to be. Now it looks like it used, like I said, about 2 quarts. It's supposed to be 2 quarts on each side. So that means you still had a quart of the oil still within your lines, your motor, and your wheel motors that you can't drain out. So that's another good reason that you need to change it on a regular basis, because when you do change it, you're not getting all the old oil out. Now, some of the other ones drain differently than this setup on this bad boy, and when you drain it, you pretty much get all your oil out. But it's on them kind, it's usually harder, and that's what you'll see on the Spartan when I do it. But as always, guys, I hope that helps some of you out. And I just want to say I appreciate each and every one of y'all for stopping in, watching my videos. And as always, I hope you come back. God bless. See y'all next time. Full of gas, she's waiting for me. She likes it when I turn her on. Always waiting on me just to mow my lawn. Well, I like her suspension and the ride that she gives me. She has plenty of power and some to spare. Just look at them tires. Reminds me of a little I think my mower's sexy. She likes it when I turn her on. Always waiting on me just to mow my lawn. Well, we do it in the morning, noon and night. She always performs for me. I think my mower's sexy. She likes it when I turn her on. Always waiting on me just to mow my lawn. And her deck's made from 4-inch steel, 61 inches, cutting she will. Turns on a dime every time. Her Kawasaki engine's one of the best in the industry. Sexy. She likes it when I turn her on. Always wait